On Britain's streets, a battle is raging. Over 11 million of us rent.
Oh, God.
But thousands fall victim to rogue landlords.
There's just water cascading through here.
Why should I live like this?
2 million of us are private landlords.
He's owed almost £10,000 in rent.
But many face financial ruin at the hands of bad tenants.
You're supposed to be out by yesterday.
Well, we're still here.
Get your hands up.
Don't push.
And that is what you're dealing with.
In this series, we're on the front line with the enforcement officers who crack down on rogue landlords.
There's a lot of scams going on.
This is gross exploitation. It just can't continue.
And the experts whose job it is to evict bad tenants.
This kind of stump boils my blood.
It can be a little bit scary at times.
Hey! Go! We're called the police.
In this episode,
I've never had this much stress in my life.
a Southampton landlord struggles to evict 2 drug-taking squatters.
They're horrible, nasty. It's just completely overwhelmed me.
Housing officers uncover appalling living conditions in Harrow.
You can't be living like this. You guys could die, it's no joke.
I've woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking, what the hell am I going to do?
A landlord in Wales is pushed to the limit by her rent-dodging tenant.
It's soul-destroying.
And a High Court sheriff closes down a suspected subletting scam.
You've got 5 minutes and then you're leaving. It's as simple as that.
A 46-year-old professional landlord, Fawad Ahmed, is in trouble. He claims 2 former tenants are squatting in one of his flats and are terrifying him and the other tenants.
Since they've come into my flat, I've had a number of characters in there. One occasion, there were 7 kind of like homeless type of characters walking into the building. They kicked in one of my bedroom doors. They were all smoking heroin, smoking pot in there. They were all drinking. I felt completely threatened. I had to leave. Just the place was just turning into like a, you know, some kind of crack house.
Fawad's trouble started when a former tenant needed somewhere to stay. Keen to help her out, he offered her a spare room for a few days. Unfortunately, he didn't realise that both she and her boyfriend have a problem with drugs.
She has now become a regular crack user. These are her own words to me. And he's also a heroin user.
The couple have now been in the flat for 6 months and are refusing to leave.
It's just an absolutely awful experience. And I've been doing this business for 26 years, and I've never had this much stress in my life because of these 2 characters. They're horrible, they're nasty, you know, they think they can take over the building, and they have. It's just completely overwhelmed me.
Desperate to get his property back, Fawad has asked lawyer Chris Sharp from the landlord group for help.
When Fawad first called me, and the opening line was, "I did a favour," automatically your heart sinks because you know it's not going to have a happy ending. Hi, Fawad.
Hello, Chris. Nice to meet you.
You too, you too. You just come from the property now?
I have, yes.
Are they in?
I believe so.
As the couple are refusing to leave, Chris is taking them to court for squatting.
So is this it then, Fawad?
This is it.
Right.
Today he's going to serve them notice of the court hearing, but Fawad's worried there could be trouble.
And that's the room that guy's in.
Okay, let's do this. Fawad had been threatened by these people. He didn't just want them out of the property, he wanted them out of his life.
Yeah.
I'm here to serve notice on you today about a court process that's going ahead week on Wednesday. There you go. Gonna come out and have a chat?
No. Cheers.
Right, okay. Well, week on Wednesday, okay? How you feeling?
Just when I'm out of the building. I'm sick to death of this. Forget about the money side of it, just the emotional side and the distress that I'm feeling here. Yeah. The fact that I'm, falling out with my family over this, my kids are suffering from this, and I've told them this, and they're not listening, they're just laughing about the whole thing.
Fawad's hoping the case will go his way. But as it was he who originally invited the squatters in, the result is far from guaranteed. A week later, Chris receives a surprise phone call.
Morning, Fawad. This is Chris.
Good morning. Can I bring you up to date on what's happened?
Yes, please, yeah.
Okay, so basically last night I got text messages from them saying about what they wanted, saying we don't want to go to court. And if you're happy to give us £400, we'll move our stuff out and hand the key back. So last night the deal was done. I had a third person go in and actually negotiate the deal. So all of that happened last night at 9:30, got the key back.
Yeah, that's really good news, Fawad. I've got to say, if they've definitely gone, just got to make sure they don't come back. I say that because ultimately, they're still squatters, so make sure they don't come back.
All right.
Thanks, Fawad. Bye-bye now.
Cheers, bye.
I've seen it before. They ask for money, you give them money, they leave, you turn your back, they go back in the same way they did before, yet you're out of pocket. You have to remember who we are dealing with. Doing a deal with them, almost like doing a deal with the devil.
Fawad may have given his squatters £400 to leave, but it's a big gamble. If they fail to go, he's back to square one.
I just felt a thud in the bottom of my stomach thinking, this isn't going to end good.
Two years ago, 58-year-old writer Sarah Martin decided to travel the world. Today, she's seriously in debt and virtually homeless. And for this, she blames her tenants.
I ran completely out of money because they weren't paying the rent and because I was stuck paying the expenses on the flat, paying for a roof over my head, paying for the legal costs. So I ended up sleeping in McDonald's for around 6 weeks. That was probably one of my worst moments. Yeah.
To pay for her travels, Sarah rented out her one-bedroom flat in a Peckham tower block, and for a year, all went well. But 12 months ago, the rent abruptly stopped, and Sarah was forced to return to the UK.
I found a family of Colombians who knew nothing about me, a young couple, 2 small children, one was newly born then.
Sarah's tenant had sublet the flat without her permission and was pocketing the rent.
I think I was targeted deliberately because he knew I was going away. He knew I wasn't going to be around to interfere in what he was doing. So he could basically do what he liked.
For Sarah, it was the start of a year-long legal battle to get both the rent and her home back.
I had nowhere else to live. I'd come back. I had no money because he wasn't paying the rent. And they're living in my house,
5 months ago, her ex-tenant reluctantly agreed to pay the money he owed her. But to cover her costs, Sarah's had to take out a payday loan and is heavily in debt. Worse still, the family are refusing to leave her flat. Today, Sarah's come back to see the place she used to call home.
That's the flat there.
I just want to go in, for God's sake. My heart is actually beating away. This has been going on for long enough now. I never imagined it would take this long. I do accept that they're victims, but I'm afraid I'm very angry with them because they couldn't see anyone else's point of view ever. I'm sleeping in McDonald's, you know, I win on the hardship stakes, I think.
Desperate to get her home back, Sarah's had to take the family to court. Last week, she won an eviction order telling them to leave.
Oh, hello.
On her way out, Sarah bumps into one of them.
Tienes que salir muy pronto, ¿sí? Sí, las personas de la corte venir aquí, and then you'll have to leave. Tienes que.
Cuando me llegue la carta que diga que me tenga que ir, me iré.
Despite the woman's assurances, Sarah's doubtful that she and her husband will obey the court order.
El problema es que tú no salir con otras noticias, pero esta vez es diferente porque es de la corte de la High Court. Chao.
If they don't go, the High Court sheriff will have to physically evict them. It's less than 24 hours since landlord Fawad Ahmed paid his squatters £400 in cash to leave his property. And unfortunately, Chris's predictions have come true. One of them has been caught on the building's CCTV.
He's skulking around. This is Wednesday morning at 3:24. That's him back into the property and then leaving the premises.
Don't think you need me to tell you that you're going to have to watch that guy.
Basically, yeah.
Surprise, surprise, they reneged on the deal. So it was square one still.
But the fact is, he's got no right to be coming back into my premises.
He could come back.
Yeah, he will come back.
And I don't think he'd give the monkeys.
The squatter's return is a huge blow for Fawad. Not only does it mean he's wasted £400, but also that the fight isn't over yet. For Sarah Martin, the end of the ordeal is in sight. A High Court sheriff is on his way to evict the family, who are refusing to leave her old home.
I'm a bit apprehensive, to be perfectly honest. I'm still half expecting something to go wrong. I don't know what will go wrong, but I'm still half expecting it will. It's like you've been waiting for something for so long, you kind of worry that something's going to happen.
Helping her is eviction specialist Paul Champlina.
There's this perception out there by the public that all landlords have got loads of money and loads of resources. Quite clearly, she was not in that bracket, and she was so desperate, so we really had to get that property back for her.
Sarah.
Hi, hello.
How are you? It's Paul from Landlord Action.
Hi.
You
hi.
okay?
I'm good, I'm good.
How are you feeling?
A little bit stressed.
I bet you are. So I know you've been homeless, and where are you sleeping at the moment?
I've been in an Airbnb for the last couple of weeks while I've been waiting for this magical date to arrive. But that's come to an end now, so I'm hoping, crossed everything, that I'm going to be in my flat tonight.
The day of the eviction finally got there, and I just kind of thought, well, if anything goes wrong, I'm going to have nothing. You know, I can't go back to court again. I've no more money to do that. I had really nothing left by that point.
3 weeks ago, Sarah and Paul won a court possession order telling the family to leave or be physically evicted. Today, their deadline is up.
Scott, how are you? You okay? This is Sarah. Scott, he's our High Court bailiff. We think there's about 4 or 5 people in there.
There'll be, if they're there, yes, 2 adults, 2 children, a dog.
All right, let's go.
Sarah suspects the family will still be there because they've told her they can't be rehoused until they're evicted. there's no reply, the High Court Sheriff uses Sarah's keys to get in.
Hello? Hello? Morning. It's a High Court writ. It tells me that you have to leave this morning, that you shouldn't be here any longer. Did you not hear me knocking? You need to pack a bag. You need to leave, please.
The eviction's taking place now. We sent letters. 29th of January, we sent a letter saying we're going to do an eviction after 7 days.
We didn't receive, what you're saying is that we didn't receive the second letter.
Look, oh, sorry. Right, there's no arguments now, okay? No, shush. I'm talking.
The eviction's taking place now. We sent a letter saying the eviction's going to take place after 7 days. What I'm saying is that there's no argument. There's been paperwork that's been served. There's been court papers that have been served. Okay? It's happening. It's reality. There's no way that they hadn't received any notification. The documentation all went to the address. It was all served there.
After 45 minutes of arguing, the High Court Sheriff has heard enough.
You've got 5 minutes and then you're leaving. It's as simple as that. So don't worry about what you did and didn't get. I've now been here nearly an hour. So you've got 5 minutes and now you have to leave and then you come back to get the rest of your stuff.
Take your necessities.
Okay?
Let's do it now because what we're talking, we're going around in circles. They've known for months and months and months. I think just disbelief and shock, really. They don't never think it's going to happen, you know, until someone knocks on the door.
Realising the game's up, and with only minutes to go, the subtenants begin collecting up their belongings.
Do you want to come through here?
Yeah, am I allowed?
Yeah, of course you can.
And Sarah ventures back into her old home.
I'm just looking forward to having my own bit of space. Obviously, it'd be easier once they've removed 1,000 inflatables from my lounge room.
Look, we're not packing things like that now.
Take valuables.
Take your valuables, take your passports, yeah?
Take your things you need.
Food for kids, or clothing, yeah? That's the important stuff. You know.
And the dog.
I'm not enjoying it, I have to say. I'm feeling guilty. And I'm angry with myself for feeling guilty, actually. You know, because I've been treated really shoddily.
Let's go this way now, come on.
When Scott sort of asked him to leave, it was just, yes sir, no sir, you know, and I thought, oh, right. So you can be respectful, you know?
All right, guys, let him just take one more thing, go on. Got it? You need to take this as well. Take this. Take that one as well.
Now they're out, the subtenants will be allowed to collect the rest of their belongings at a later date, but only with Sarah's permission.
All right? Okay, good luck. Thank you. Bye-bye. You have your property back, Sarah, officially.
I feel like I'm going to burst into tears, actually, but I'm not. I'm going to wait for you to go.
Okay. There's all these emotions. You've been through the mill. It's quite unusual for when you do take possession of a property that the landlord's that desperate they've got to live in the property that night. So this is a little bit of a rarity, but she's desperate.
For Sarah, getting the flat back couldn't have come soon enough.
I had to borrow money off a friend last week to carry on paying my rent in the Airbnb that I was in. Yeah, I would have been back in McDonald's. I was relieved to get the flat back. However, after that I started to get angry because I certainly lost more money than I ever made out of it, put it that way.
Good luck.
Cool, thank you so much.
I hope you never have to call us again.
Yeah, let's hope.
Take care. Because you'll be living in here.
Again,
That's right. Take care, all the best. Bye.
It's nightfall, and Harrow Council Housing Officer Joe Smith and her colleague Ozzy Albayrak are investigating a tip-off about a dangerously overcrowded property.
If you've got 20 people living in a property that's meant for 5, it's not exactly ideal. We've had issues where there's been so many people in a property, the drainage has backed up completely and it's ended up flooding the street with sewage. Downstairs looks empty. Right.
Finding the front door unlocked, the enforcement officers decide to check the upstairs.
It was really creepy, to be fair, because we just entered, the door was open. So the main door was unlocked and we just got in and I was like, oh my God, you could tell from that there's something totally wrong. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
See, I got into the house very easily. You guys are not very secure, are you?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys?
As soon as the officers enter the kitchen, it's clear the flat is seriously overcrowded.
We are coming from Harrow Council, okay?
Ozzy tries to find out exactly how many men live here.
Sit down, sit down, sit down. You guys are all living in this house then? Yeah? Okay. Who's sleeping here?
No, I don't sleep.
You just sit.
Yeah,
so why is there a duvet?
I just
What's happening with this duvet?
Ozzy counts 9 men in the kitchen, but the officers soon discover they have a much bigger problem on their hands.
What's in there? There was a door, which looks like a door to Narnia. I thought it was storage. We opened that door and there was literally like 8 men.
We've got 3 people sleeping on the bed.
There's 2 more at the corner.
Housing enforcement officers from Harrow Council have uncovered a seriously overcrowded property. So many people in a 2-bed flat is dangerous.
1 single mattress and 2 double mattresses, there's at least 5 people. Nobody in this one, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least possibly 6 sleeping spaces, but you can smell the dampness, mold growth on the walls and everything.
Imagine a fire, 30 people could have easily died in there. I mean, there wasn't proper smoke alarms, proper fire escape routes, anything could have happened. Oh my God! There's basically a double socket that's literally exposed and it's so dangerous. This is dangerous, darling.
No problem.
What do you mean no problem? It's exposed electric.
There is no problem, no. There's no problem.
They're like, it doesn't matter, we'll live. They don't care.
Joe counts over 30 mattresses in a flat designed for 4 people. And it's not just single men.
Got a pushchair there. It's worrying if there is a child here. It's not the place for a child, it really isn't. There's no locks on any of the doors. There's no fire safety. There's no security because we just walked in here.
Concerned for the occupants' safety, the housing officers try and find out who's in charge.
Who are you paying your rent to? Tell me. You can't be living like this. You guys could die, it's not a joke. Yes. You shouldn't be living in these conditions.
I know, but people try to survive,
I know.
work for £300 for a week. How can I pay 500 in 1 week?
No,
How can I pay?
I totally understand you, and it's quite upsetting for me. I know.
All the people try to survive.
True.
Try to save some money.
Try to save some money, but also think about your health and safety, okay?
Yeah.
Try to move out from here as soon as you can. And find somewhere with less people. Okay? I'll speak to the landlord and get him to put smoke alarms and fire doors in.
Yes.
He's obviously not talking, so we may as well go down a formal route.
Let's go.
Yep. Now we'll make contact with the owner of the property, find out if he knows anything and, if necessary, prosecute the landlord.
I can't wait to find out about who the landlord is and to, you know, to question why is he actually letting people live in this way and collecting money from these vulnerable people. I think it's just disgusting.
But Ozzy and Joe's investigation is almost over before it's begun.
What's going on, guys? Hey, guys, where are you going?
It looks like the raid has spooked the men, and they've all decided to leave.
Wow, that was quick. Where are you going, guys? Where are you going?
You say that is no good. I'm trying to change another.
What, now, tonight?
Yes, I don't know where, but I'm leaving anyway.
They left because they were so frightened they were going to get in trouble. It was quite upsetting for us to see them leave because we didn't go there to evict them or to make them leave the property, but we just wanted them to get to a safer place.
I don't like it when people do a mass exodus because they're off the radar, so we don't know where they're going and if where they're going to is going to be safe or if it's going to be just as bad as that place.
We made these guys homeless. It's really sad. Take care, look after yourself. I hope you're safe.
Thank you.
64-year-old grandmother Trish Moore seriously regrets becoming a landlord.
It's incredibly stressful. It's financially absolutely ruinous. I've got a retired husband. The idea was that it would supplement our pension. You end up stressed, you end up not being able to sleep. It's just a constant worry.
The cause of Trish's stress is her tenant, who has not paid a single penny in rent for 7 months and now owes over £3,500.
She's only ever paid once on time in 2 years, and she assumes that she can live there ad infinitum free of charge. You try and talk to her, she doesn't want to know. So she said, oh, I've been on holiday. Then she said, I gave it to my daughter to pay, she's lost the receipt. Then it was the bank's fault, they'd mucked it up. Then classic one was, I couldn't pay it because I work for a living, I didn't have time to go to the bank. And then she said, oh, I couldn't pay it because my app's broken on my phone.
Trish can't afford to lose any more rent, so she's asked eviction specialist Karen Longworth for help.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm Trish.
Nice to meet you. So have you heard anything from the tenant?
Not a word.
Okay, so we've got the Section 8 notice. You have to walk down to the property now and see if she's in, nice and early, give her an early morning call, and let's serve this notice.
It's just down here on the right. I didn't really want to run into her. I didn't want the confrontation that I thought we would probably have.
A Section 8 notice demands that Trish's tenant pays the £3,500 she owes or leaves the 3-bedroom property. If she doesn't do either, Trish will be forced to go to court and apply for an eviction order.
14 days. It's 14 days to leave the property or clear them arrears.
Trish must now wait and see how her tenant reacts.
I knew from the moment we served any notice that it was going to be a very bumpy ride, and I wasn't looking forward to it.
Professional landlord Fawad Ahmed has received a serious blow. He struck a deal with 2 squatters, paying them £400 to leave his property. But one of them has been caught on CCTV coming back in the middle of the night.
He's skulking around.
To keep them out once and for all, his lawyer, Chris Sharp, has obtained a court possession order. Today, they're checking whether the squatters have left or are still there.
Let me go in. Give me the key. Sure. Hello? I'm coming in. I went in first because I wanted to make sure it was clear, because they might have a bit of an axe to grind with Fawad, but not really with me, I would hope. What you can't pick up on is the smell. Drug. There's a drug smell.
Basically, yeah.
It's overwhelming, isn't it?
Completely.
Well, look, there's a
Little needle.
syringe there.
Yeah.
So just be careful. Just watch yourself for needles there, Fawad.
This mattress is being cut up here. As you can see, look, you got.
And in case there's needles in there, I wouldn't touch it.
The brand new carpet that was in here, that's completely wrecked, and the walls are all scuffed up. This is damaged. My bed is completely trashed. Looks like I've had a heater robbed off the wall there, so I had two in here. You can see the bathroom. To show me who the boss was, they decided to put a hammer to that. As you can see the little hammer there.
The squatters ended up staying in Fawad's flat for 6 months. Not only has he lost the potential rent, now he also has a major clean-up on his hands.
A needle cover there. Fawad, he was doing a favour, wasn't he, for somebody? And this is what's happened. It's exploded in his face. All because Fawad did an act of generosity towards them. OK, Fawad, that's job done. You've seen the CCTV.
Yes.
Just be careful with these guys.
OK.
I wouldn't put it past them to try and get back in somehow.
But as Fawad's now armed with a court order that bans them from the property, they will be arrested if they dare return. For Fawad, it's a huge relief.
You know, it's a big bit of pressure off my shoulders. They were a complete nightmare.
It's a fortnight since Trish Moore served her tenant with an eviction notice. The deadline to pay up or leave the property has now passed. But Trish hasn't heard a word from her.
I should be making Weetabix at this precise moment. I want to find out if she's leaving, and I've tried a couple of times to get hold of her, and it's always very, very difficult. So she should actually be going, unless we're going to have to go to court. There are some lights on.
Determined to get an answer, Trish is hoping to surprise her tenant before she heads off to work.
The notice had been served by the court, and I went to see really whether she was actually going to leave or whether we were going to have to go through the whole rigmarole. And her daughter came out.
That's the daughter. And she has now seen me. Damn. Never thought about her.
I didn't want to meet her because I'm a coward, and I really don't like arguments.
And I think she's gone back in the house. Nope, she's there. That is the daughter.
I thought if she gets out the car, I've had it really, because, you know, I really don't want a blazing great row in the middle of the street. But the fact that she pulled up and wound down the window, I thought, you're not getting out either.
No? Why? She's not my tenant. It's got absolutely nothing to do with her. My stomach's churning. I'm not comfortable. All I want to know is when she plans on leaving and what she plans to do about the rent, which I think is perfectly reasonable. I think I'm probably going to get the door slammed in my face. I think that's pretty inevitable, really.
After an hour, it's clear the tenant's not coming out. So Trish tries a more direct approach.
I think she's just seen me. I'm sure she's up. I saw her in the window. I just need to know when you're leaving. How soon's possible? I'm sorry, but you should have been gone by now. Sadly, we will have to go to court.
I just think that when she said to me, I'll be leaving as soon as possible, it was sort of more when I've got to. And I'll sit here not paying rent until I have to go.
Trish is already out of pocket by £3,500 in unpaid rent and legal fees. The longer her tenant stays, the worse it will become.
She just thinks that if she ignores it will all go away. Unfortunately, I can't afford to go away.
It's a fortnight since housing officers raided a two-bedroom flat in Harrow and discovered around 30 people living there. The men may have left, but Ozzy Al-Bayrak is determined to make sure it doesn't happen again.
We went on an evening raid and it was absolutely, utterly awful conditions in there.
Ozzy has discovered that the landlord lives abroad and a letting agency manages the property.
Right.
She's calling the agency to get some answers.
I was quite disappointed when I heard your managing agent's name. I was like, not you guys again. Because we're talking about people's lives here. I mean, anything could have happened in that house. You guys didn't let it to these people. What, they were like squatters? How is that possible? I mean, who would have given them the keys? I'm not trying to be cynical, but it is my job to be, you know, questioned.
Ozzy needs to know what's happening with the flat, so she decides to make a surprise inspection.
The property might be completely empty, or there might be a few people living in the property. We don't know. We'll find out. Hello? Ooh, it's empty. Hello.
Hello.
I'm coming from Harrow Council. You are a builder?
I don't speak it very well English.
I mean, it's already looking better. Okay, let's have a look. Oh my God. A few days ago, there was like mattresses here. The guy there, he was sleeping in here. He was like literally tucked in.
Ozzy may never find out how the 30 men got into the flat, but what is clear is it's now being turned into a safe family home. For Ozzy, it's a good result.
Unfortunately, squatters get in, but I understand the builders are being given instruction to repair this house, do the electrics, do all the fixing. Overall, we're happy. They're doing the whole works.
Three weeks have passed since a court ordered Trish Moore's tenant to leave her two-bed house. So far, the tenant has ignored it.
I assumed that when certain people got to a certain age, they got a certain responsibility. As a landlord, I've learnt that it's absolutely nothing to do with age. They've either got it or they haven't. And I just don't think she had any responsibility.
But this morning, just 5 days before the bailiffs are due to arrive, there's some unexpected news.
As far as I understand it, from one of the neighbours who looked, there's been no movement there at all. Nobody's been in or out. So I'm going to go in there and find out if she actually has gone. If she's still there, I haven't got the faintest idea what I'm going to do. Probably cry.
Trish's tenant now owes her over £5,000 in unpaid rent and legal fees.
I've been through this with her now for months. Hopefully she will have gone.
Only once she's inside will Trish know whether her tenant has left and her 9-month-long ordeal is over.
Absolutely ecstatic she's gone. If I'm brutally honest, there have been tears shed. I've woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning and ended up wandering around the house thinking, what the hell am I going to do? And it's soul-destroying. But she's gone and she can't do anything else to it. And I can sort it out, clean it, decorate it, put it all back together again, and then off we go again. But it is nice. It's a great relief. I think I will probably sleep tonight.
Next time.
It's get out time! Time's up! Out!
In Manchester, a landlord's forced to break into his own property.
There you go, that's how you get in.
Enforcement officers on a dawn raid.
We're from Brent Council.
Uncover a shocking case of exploitation.
If something goes wrong here, all hell breaks loose.
And a landlord's faced with the clean-up from hell.
My God, how can someone live like this?
To me, it smells of death. Well,